All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Let's start sitting up against something. You can sit against a wall, the edge of a sofa, even if it's not fully at the whole back of the body, just to have some feedback. I'm sitting up on some height so that I can have space behind my low back. And I can just get like a hand's width or two back there. I'm not getting like 6 inches. If you're getting 6 inches, you probably don't need to sit on a blanket at all. All right, close the eyes. Feel the touch of the wall or the support behind you. And let the weight settle into the floor. Let your legs get a little heavier. Use your hands to rub the thighs, right? Bringing the brain's attention downwards. See if you can pay attention to the texture of the fabric. And we'll take a falling out breath. That's an inhale through the nose and an exhale through an open mouth, even with a sighing, sound-like quality. If that felt good, you can do it 1 or 2 more times. Imagine the bottom of the pelvis on the floor. You have the sit bones, which are like the feet of the pelvis. And the sit bones are wider at the back and narrower at the front. And they actually mirror the shape of your jaw. So the chin would be the front, just like the pubic bone at the front of the pelvis. And then the jaw widens as it goes back. And the bottom of the dress, just like the sit bones. And so I want you to imagine your jaw releasing towards the floor. Your mouth will stay closed, your lips stay closed, but you notice that the teeth of the lower jaw are no longer touching the teeth of the upper jaw. And as the jaw releases, the pelvis drops. It's like going down one floor on the elevator. Use your natural exhales to enhance this sensation of descent. Imagine it's even the weight of the jaw is pulling on the brain itself, unsticking it from the inside of the skull. It's softening your eyes and letting the eyes roll back towards the brain. The gaze is still down, but the eyes are no longer pushing forward towards the eyelids. I feel like they slide back, get heavy. Eyes get to take a little nap. With another soft, easy exhale, you feel the mechanism of your throat softening. The chest softening, the belly, digestive system relaxing. Feel the power of your stillness. It's a quiet power. It's not active or vigilant or alert. It's steady. It's like the background that's always there, like, oh, the sun rises and it's daytime, and the sun sets and it's nighttime. It's like that deep cycle that's always present, that never varies. You're tapping into that part of yourself. The you that you've always been. Notice whatever degree of shift you've been able to sense or feel within the last few minutes. Even if it was 1%, maybe it was 50%, somewhere in that range, that's huge. So in these times, we're looking to be able to shift our attention skillfully. That's what a yogi does. We're not fixated on one thing, nor is our attention dancing from one thing to another. We can have a soft, present focus, and then as appropriate, we can shift. Gather the feeling that you have right now in the body. Gather it into the palms, and the hands are held in a bowl-like shape. It's like you've scooped up some water from a magical fountain, and you're holding this precious feeling in the hands. Use your breath to become even more aware of this feeling. As you deepen the breath, you feel the feeling more consciously through all your tissue. That's wonderful. Bring your hands together in prayer position at heart center and bow the head. Release the hands down, and now make your way to the mat or whatever surface you have. You can use a throw blanket or a bath towel to make you a little stiffer to pad under the knees. It's optional, but do take care of your knees. And I want you to move organically now. So you can do some big circles. And let the breath dictate the shape that you're taking. Your body is almost like something floating on the ocean, and the ocean is your breath. And the waves of the ocean, a gentle movement is undulating around, bringing sensation into all quadrants of the body, especially the four corners of the body, each shoulder, left and right, each hip complex. Let yourself find some side bending shapes. You might walk your hands off to one side. Just some twisting, letting your head respond however it wishes to. Walking your hands over to the other side. Feel the side bend over there. How's that different? Get some little twisting actions in, turning the chest, dropping one shoulder. Making sure you find that round Halloween cat shape at certain points and a back bend. And for some of you, really feeling the shoulder blades firm, if you touch around there. And as the shoulder blades firm on the back, as they narrow towards the spine, the head instinctually lifts and the throat lengthens. Feel that connection. Right. Shoulder blades firm, and the throat lifts. A little rock forward. Let's keep some of that shape. If you get a pinch between the shoulder blades, you're squeezing too much, so make it moderate. It might be a little flatter in your upper back. And we'll do a little bit of a lion's breath here. So as you shift forward, with that lion's breath, keep going, rocking forward with the inhale. The lion's breath, the tongue sticks out. And you can open the eyes, they roll back in the skull. It's quite ferocious. And play with how fast you go forward and how long of a pause you take in the back. You can do more lion's breaths if that's feeling good for you. You can also add a more powerful exhale as you come back. Maybe one more times on your own, and then you'll find yourself in child's pose as you're ready. Resting back into your child's pose, letting the body become quiet again. Even shifting, rocking. My head's up because I'm talking, but in your child's pose, your head is released all the way down, and your head might turn and rock a little bit as you shift from side to side. Find your stillness. Remember, there's power in stillness, and the arms can actually wrap back now around the side of the body, hands to the soles of the feet, and you're in quite a fetal shape. The shoulders will droop and hang towards the floor. The back of the neck is long. In this shape, be utterly still. One more nice full breath. And then your arms will emerge out in front of you on either side of the head. Push palms into the floor and slowly round up, vertebrae by vertebrae. You're not doing this if you have osteoporosis. You would flatten the back and come up with a flat back. And the rest of us will try this rolling up shape, gradually emerging. Pausing in an upright position, if that's intense for sitting, you could take your blanket, take a moment to just shift it between your shins and your buttocks. Feel how much you've shifted your internal energy, even just with a little bit of informal movement. All right, very good. Let's come onto the back. If you know that you like to use the blanket for the head, that's an option. If you're not sure, you give it a try. Come down to your side, roll onto your back. And if when you have the blanket, your chin is kind of close to your throat, try it without. And you might find that there's a little more space in the chin, like where your abdomen would be. If on the other hand, you feel like your head is tilting back, the blanket's a great option for you. All right, so just feel the entire back body on the floor. I'm going to take my feet wide and let my knees fall in. This feels great on my back. Some of you might actually love, especially Claudia, if you've joined us. I know that you love this Baddha Konasana position. The soles of the feet come together and the knees lower gently towards the floor. If you're not sure, you try both shapes. Choose the one that's speaking to you. All right, and then let's take the right leg into half happy baby. So the right knee comes towards the floor, and your pelvis will have to roll quite a bit to the right to make this happen. The sole of the right foot faces the ceiling. Grab the leg from the inside, hold the inside of the heel, and try to maneuver the legs so that the shin is about perpendicular to the floor. And then take some breaths, releasing through the inner thigh. For some of you, the back of the thigh. For most of us, pelvic floor. All right, so these times can let the root chakra, make the root chakra constrict, contract,
And we're going to release some of that. And start to feel the difference through the right half of the pelvic floor compared to the left. If you want to add a little more sensation here, tone the belly and not letting that right knee flow up at all. Keep it down. You can push into your blanket if it doesn't quite reach the floor. Keep that down as you float the other leg up. So left leg floats, point the leg. I would like the foot to be a little higher than the hip. I don't want it hanging down. And you can take some long breaths into the shape. It's almost like doing a lunge pose. Switch on your back. And now rebend left knee, straighten the hook right ankle across the left knee. This is figure 4 pose. Both legs come into the chest. Hold the back of your left thigh or the shin, or back of the left thigh or the shin, and then rock a little bit, rock from side to side. The intention here is to get some sensation in the upper butt. That's great. And release both legs. Again, you can have feet wide, let the knees fall in, or take your Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, and feel the difference in the halves of the body. Feel your breath. All right, second side, taking the left leg into half happy baby. Again, please let your pelvis roll towards the left side. My right buttock is fully off the floor. Yours will probably be too. I'm working my right knee towards the floor, working towards a perpendicular shin. Sole of the foot towards the ceiling, holding the heel bone itself. Become conscious of touching this great point of information of the body. So much information comes in through the heel of the foot. You're grasping that now, and the brain kind of lights up with interest at what you're doing. And you can further anchor that left knee down, tone through the abdominals, float that right foot up, try extending right leg straight, pointing the toes, and don't let the legs sag. It's got to be quite active here, foot floating higher than your pelvis, and breathe into the release through the left half of the pelvic floor. And this time, you take the hand to the abdomen, to the belly, you're that free right hand, and see if the breath is reaching the pelvic floor, the pelvic bowl. Great. And then we'll rebend right knee, that foot goes to the floor, we're exiting that pose. Come into a neutral position here, just checking in. Let's release. Oh, I think we have to do our figure 4. Should we do that one? All right, so we have to take the left leg across the right knee and draw the legs in. This side's more intense for me. Notice if you're feeling, it's probably why I skipped it. I was like, this side's a little more intense. Rock from side to side, exploring the sensation. Hovering, pausing in places that catch your attention. That's great. And then we release and check in. The floor hold you. Hands behind the head. We do our butterfly sit-ups. Many of you know this. The soles of the feet together, knees out to the side in our Supta Baddha Konasana. And the hands behind the head, or even just at the bottom of the skull, top of the neck, find that back bend position. I'm going to lightly press my elbows into the floor to help my chest open. Knees release open as I push the soles of the feet into one another. I let my back arch. I'm taking a big breath.
From the openness of the throat, the head is tilted back, openness of the throat across the sternum, all the way down to the pubic bone, all the way to the tailbone. You might feel the openness of the pelvic floor here. Exhale, everything closes, knees close, curl head, neck, and shoulders up, elbows touch, get small. On your next inhale, you're opening back up. Exhale, everything closes. Keep going at the pace of your breath. Letting the breath be a little bit more accentuated here, more deliberate, more focused, especially in its completeness. It's a complete exhale and a complete inhale. Next time you curl up, we'll take the upper body to the right. So everything still closes, and then the upper body rolls a little bit to the right, and the knees like 2 degrees to the left. Don't go crazy here. Inhale back to center, everything opens up. Stretch the throat, front body. Exhale, curl up, opposite side. So upper body turns left, knees a little bit to the right. And then keep going at your pace, alternating sides. Accentuate that exhale. Feel your abdominals kick in with that exhale. They work together. It's such a powerful thing to fuel the action. Feel how the inhale becomes spontaneous if the exhale is deliberate. And one more time to each side. And then we'll come right back up through center. Hold. And release. The legs go all the way out straight, arms released. Little shavasana break here. Let the floor hold you. And feel the power of your stillness. All right, bend one knee, then the other. Roll to one side. Use your hands to press up. And come back to table pose. And if you don't have a surface to push into, this is fine. Pointer dog with one leg back and the opposite arm forward works just as well without something to push into. But you get a little extra flavor, you push in. Those of you who are pretty flexible and arching your low back, your tendency would be to put the leg too high. So take a look at it, lower the foot to the height of your pelvis, and check that you have a little bend in the knee, it's not locking backwards. Once you check that out, look from the front, tuck your chin under, look, and lower that left hip until the hips look level. If that causes any weirdness or pinching, externally rotate that left leg just a touch so the glute muscle starts to hold the leg up. Gazing just in front of the hands, right arm reaches forward and push with the left leg back and that right arm reaches forward and lengthen that whole diagonal of the body as far as it can go. Imagine that the push of the leg back, the reach of the leg back, and the reach of the arm forward is so strong that it lightens the burden of the left hand on the floor. Switch sides. Place the right foot on the wall. Take a look at it. Make sure it's not high. We'll walk that foot down. Lower is actually more powerful. Check that the knee's not locked. Look from the front. Lower the right hip. You have to go a little lower than you think it should. If it feels a little weird, turn the right leg a little externally. So the heel's a little bit in. It's like a Charlie Chaplin foot. The toes are a little bit out. And that should give you a firmer, more clear contraction through the right buttock. Emphasize that. Drive the heel into the wall. Opposite arm reaches forward as left arm this time, and then we push back with the leg and reach with the opposite arm. Imagine this is one limb. The right leg flows seamlessly into the left arm. You're so intimately connected. And they're so strong, it takes some of the work out of that right hand on the floor. Very good. And then we'll go back to the first side. So that left leg is up, and this time we're going to spin the thigh in the socket. So I just have my heel pushing into the wall, both hands on the floor. And you're spinning the right leg so the knee turns out, the entire thigh turns out, the foot turns out, and then they rotate back in until the knee and the toes face the floor. Now all of this is possible without any movement in your pelvis or your spine. So I'm not lifting the hip to make this, I'm not lifting the pelvis to make this happen. You could let that happen and feel the difference. I want the pelvis to stay still, and you're just spinning the thigh in the socket. And then let it rotate out about 15 degrees, shift forward slightly so now the foot's not pressing into the wall or the couch. Opposite arm reaches forward. Start to lift the arm a little higher, go wider if you get a pinching in the shoulder, lift the back leg higher. Now we are back bending. Let your throat open. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee and elbow come towards each other. Inhale, stretching back out. Exhale, hugging in. If you have osteoporosis, you're skipping the knee to elbow. One more time, hugging in, reaching out, and then down. Okay, right leg is back. We'll do our spinning in the socket. If your wrists are getting tired, you can always come up to fists. Take your hands wider, turn your hands out. All of that will take some burden off of the wrists. And we're spinning that right leg in the socket without moving the lumbar spine, without letting that half of the pelvis lift up. 10 or 15 of those. And when it feels good enough, you feel a nice contraction of the glute. Shift forward, the glute's holding the leg up. Opposite arm reaches forward. And then we lift a little higher. It's your inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow, rounding the spine. Inhale, stretch back out. And then keep going, following your breath. Let your breath power the movement. Inhale to reach out. Exhale to hug in. One more. And then both hands to the floor. Come to child's pose. Arms by your sides, the shoulders droop and hang, the head releases. Feel the power of your stillness. Slide forward onto the belly. When you're on your belly, if you notice that your butt tends to stick up and the belly or the ribs press firmly into the floor, you know that you tend to have a strong arch in the low back. Folding your blanket or your towel and sliding it under the belly can be really helpful. Okay? That's not my body, but might be yours. Okay? We'll rest here, letting the front of the body touch the floor. I like to rest on my chin. If you have a flat cervical spine, that's a great option. If you tend to have a lot of rounding in your upper back, it's better if you rest on your forehead. Feel your inhale inflate the back body so it feels like it's floating up towards the ceiling. And then the exhale sinks you a little deeper into the floor.
All right, let's push up to forearms. And the elbows are just in front of the shoulders. The elbows are not much wider than the shoulders. They're just about as wide as the outside of your shoulders. Palms are facing down. Take an inhale here. Exhale, push down into the floor. Curl in, look towards your navel. Lift the belly button and the ribs off the floor. Holding this position, feel your upper back spread. The shoulder blades widen and the head is released down. Keep some of this tone in your abdominals and the forearms pressing into the floor. As you peel the head forward, lift the chin, back bending. Exhale, bowing in, pushing down, lifting up, keeping some of that tone as you lift into space, pulling the chin forward. Following the breath, curling in. Inhale, pulling forward. One more time. Holding this inhale position, but do continue to breathe. Press down a little more firmly with the tops of the feet and the hands. The hands will actually start to isometrically pull back. They won't move, but it's like they're pulling back towards your feet. As they push down and pull back, you might be able to lift the elbows off the floor, and this would feel nice. It pinches in the low back, bow in again, letting the elbows go wide. Reinvigorate some of that support through the abdominals, and lift up again. So I'm going to walk the hands a little closer in. The arms are not allowed to straighten here. Only an up dog, not in cobra variations. Do a little shoulder roll, drawing the shoulders back. Feel the collarbones widen. And with an exhale, widen the elbows. Fingers turn in and then lower your head towards the floor. Belly and chest stay lifted as long as possible. And then turn your head to one side and rest. And bend your left knee, as I'm showing here, to a little baby Baddha Konasana. It's not a lot. We're not trying to do a big movement here, it's a tiny one. Push your left knee into the floor, and it should stick your left buttock up. So the left half of the pelvis is off the floor a bit, and your back is arched. That's going to help you bend the knee a little deeper so you can grab it. Grab the foot, left foot, with your left hand. Bend the left elbow, draw the shoulder back, and then swing that knee back in line. We've got a quad stretch here, which might be obvious. And in order to make it deeper, we can do some of that Sphinx work with that right hand. Instead of the hand being straight, it crosses the body, right hand crosses the body. We push into the form and lift up. This is actually what deepens the pose for you. This left shoulder, you take a look at it, the elbow must be bent, and that shoulder must be high. As you find your pose, the shoulder is avoiding some stretch by the chest, turning open to the left. So look straight ahead towards the center top of your mat and incrementally turn your sternum and your rib cage to the right. That'll increase your shoulder stretch. Breathe. And the higher you are, the more you let your head lift. And then softly release the pose. Turn your head to the opposite side as you release down and rest. Bend the right knee a little bit, just so it's slightly externally rotated. The inside of that knee is touching the floor. Push it into the floor. Your right butt will push up to the ceiling. That's what we're looking for. You're going to feel some arch in your low back. Bend the right knee a lot. Reach back with your right hand to grab the ankle or the foot, and then you have to bend the elbow. You have to. So important for the shoulder to unlock the elbow and then pull the shoulder back. Swing that leg back until it's parallel to the other. And here's our stretch. You could stay low or incrementally, right? Shifting incrementally. Nobody likes abrupt changes, right? Push the left hand into the floor. Lift the chest a little higher. You're looking a little higher and not straight down. Breathe. working to square the hips so they're equidistant from the floor. They'll want to kind of roll open to the right. Don't let them. The chest is doing the same thing. The chest is turned a lot to the right to avoid the shoulder stretch. Incrementally, take your time and breathe as you shift the ribs a little bit left, deepening the shoulder stretch. Nice inhale. Exhale, release the foot. And hands underneath the shoulders, shoulders back, belly toned. Pushing the knees to come up to table pose and the downward facing dog. Checking the time here. We're doing okay on time. All right, downward facing dog. Let's do, my favorite is the crouching dog, where it's more like chair pose. So the knees are bent deeply, and you really get your legs to work. It takes all that work kind of out of the shoulders that happens when you lock the legs out, round the spine, and shift forward. So we're shifting back. You try to imagine that your butt is going to touch the wall behind you. Feel your belly hollow with your exhale. And then walk your hands back to your feet, sitting into half chair pose. And here, instead of the knees shifting forward where you can't see the toes, start to work your knees back, working towards that perpendicular shin. That can be really tough, and you might find that your torso is leaning forward a lot to make that happen. If you have your wall, you can give a little touch to the wall, and instead of feeling the flesh of your buttocks or your sacrum, you're looking to feel those little tips of the sit bones, little bony prominences there. This allows you to be a little closer to neutral spine. And it's going to make this perpendicular shin iesier. Without moving your feet, isometrically pull them apart. And it will allow you to float your hips off the wall. Keep isometrically stretching the feet apart as you inhale. Straighten the legs, reach up, stretch the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, sit into your chair, reaching your hips back, looking for the wall. If you've got it, you don't have to touch it. Working for that perpendicular shin. And somebody who could even get a thigh that's parallel to the floor. This is pretty deep. Everybody stretches the feet isometrically apart to rise up to standing, arms reaching up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sitting into our deep, deep chair pose. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit into chair, and then we'll let the hands come to the floor. Tip the weight to the fronts of the feet, almost so where the heels start to lift. The hands can come a bit in front of you so you have your balance. And we'll pause here deep with the belly touching the thighs. Take another inhale. As you exhale, keep the belly close to the thighs as you lift the pelvis up. Inhale, butt lowers down, you can look straight ahead. Exhale, your butt lifts up, but you're trying to keep the belly touching the thighs instead of letting them separate. Okay? Lots of ways to do this pose. This is how we're doing it today. So the inhale, you're deeply bent. The exhale, you tip your butt up. Your shins stay perpendicular. Your butt's coming up and over your head like you're going to do a somersault on the exhale. On the inhale, your butt lowers back down. Stay in Uttanasana, the forward fold. Lift your heels up high. You really should feel the legs complaining and working strongly here. Keep the heels up. Walk back out to your dog. Here you have a straighter leg, many of you, but hopefully the work stayed active in the legs. So we're looking for the legs to do 80% of the work. I'm gonna come up closer to the camera and look at you guys and see your poses. Good work. And the legs certainly don't have to straighten if you feel the spine rounding strongly. Keeping them bent is very powerful. Nicely done, you guys. All right, from downward facing dog, come back to table pose, and then lift up and step that right foot forward. We're in a low lunge here. The blanket's helpful under that back knee. The padding's great, yes. I'm turning towards the camera so you can see, but mostly we're trying to get the hips a little more level. Otherwise we don't get a symmetrical release. We're just side bending the spine too much. As you can see in the camera, the tendency is for my right hip to shift out to the side, my front leg hip. To you guys, it looks like my left side, right? And then the spine is no longer straight. So add enough height to fold your mat, right? If you need to, under the knee, or use your blanket or towel, so the hips feel more or less level. Right leg is forward, left leg is the back leg. Hips are fairly level. And then we'll take the back foot and bring it across the midline. So now your back leg thigh is externally rotated. The knee is turned out to like 10 o'clock. Let some arch come into the back. I'm going to use my hand back there to flow the skin of the sacrum up. If that pinches, I would instead push down into your hands, curl and get a little abdominal support, then use the hand to flow you up into a little bit of an arch, lift the back foot, reach back with your hand, and we're in that quad stretch. Imagine the breath flushing out, doing some spring cleaning through that back thigh. Especially with this external rotation, you could feel some different sensations than you usually do. Helpful if you can feel some release through this TFL area that I'm pointing to, just to the outside of that hip point, the ASIS, flowing down through the inner thigh. Bend that left elbow, peel the left shoulder back, turn a little bit to your left. That's how the body wants to turn. Don't change the thigh, but do start to turn your body so it faces more straight ahead. Your sternum faces more straight ahead, and your pelvis. So the thigh stays externally rotated, the shoulder gets a deeper opening. Squaring hips, squaring shoulders. All right, and then we release, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Set the knees on the floor, curl and bow in, so we make sure that the spine isn't sagging, the butt's not sticking up in the air. So you're pushing down to feel the core lift. Keep pushing down, resisting the floor as you lower all the way down. Sweep your arms in front of you. Come into your Sphinx variation. If those elbows are up, find your inhale. Exhale, lower down. Hands come back underneath you, shoulders high. Push down so you feel your belly lift first. Knees push down, then you come back up to table. And we're ready for the second side, low lunge. Left knee forward, right leg back. Spin that right thigh out, so it's a little externally rotated. Take the hands to the pelvis. You might feel that your pelvis, if I'm mirroring you, once that foot crosses the midline, the whole pelvis turns that way. And we learned in our pointer dog that we can keep the hips square, right? Even as the leg turns externally. You might have to adjust so you don't have it so far over. So you square the hips, level the hips, and you have some external rotation. We do that in quite a few poses in yoga. So you're feeling that. Get some arch through the low back. This will prevent the hamstring cramping. That's what we're trying to prevent. So flowing the skin of the low back up with your knuckles as I'm showing. It's right at the sacrum, low back. It flows up. Once you feel some arch, lift the foot, grab the foot, and then bend the right elbow. It has to bend as you peel right shoulder back. And we'll start to work your quad stretch. Whole body lets just sneak and turn over to the right, incrementally, using your exhales, using your abdominals to turn the trunk, turn the torso, right? Increasing the intensity of the stretch. Flood the breath into that back thigh. One more full breath. And release the foot. Come to hands and knees, clear the blanket away. Downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Knees up or down, bowing, get the belly to firm. Lower with that exhale, pushing the floor away. As an inhale into Sphinx. Exhale, lower down, hands underneath the shoulders. Let those shoulders high first. Feel the core back firm. Look at your shoulders, check them out. Then look down, push down until your belly and your ribs lift. Push back up to hands and knees. Exhale back to your child's pose. Good. So from child's pose, you'll push into your hands to lift your torso vertical. Push into your shins, the front of your lower leg, to lift up. It's like a camel pose. Bring one leg forward, tuck the back toes under. Rock back, then rock forward, come up to standing. Okay, I'm trying to do that without hands. It takes a while. Okay, and then once you're in Tadasana, put the feet together and keep them about sit bone distance apart, not as wide as your hips. You can look down. And then make sure that the knees, when you look down, the knees are as wide as your feet. And we'll take your kneecaps from turning in to facing more straight ahead. When the kneecaps face straight ahead, you might find that the feet need to turn out slightly. That's just your anatomy, it's not a fault. Okay, so that's your Tadasana. I'll show you from the side view. We're going to play with shifting. Today's class is about shifting your attention and making conscious shifts. That's what yogis can do. So now when we shift the hips forward, the weight comes to the ball mounts of the feet. And when you shift your weight back, it comes to the heels. So you can, with the knees unlocked, let this floating action happen. Imagine that you're a boat on, at the dock, and you're moored to it, and the boat can sort of shift forward and back as the pelvis is staying level. So we're not letting the pelvic tilt change all over the place as we do the shift. We're holding fairly neutral as you shift forward and back. Neutral is hip points and pubic bone on the same plane. You can feel through your one hand on the belly, one hand on the low back. Your low back isn't changing its arch as you go forward and back. Okay, and then shift the weight to the heels. We're going to leave it there. I want the knees trying to push forward, so you're not letting the legs fully straighten. There's like this impulse, this desire for them to bend. So that's keeping some energy in your legs. Keep your balance. Close your eyes. Imagine that the left eye, we're going to sense where the left eye is. Mirroring, sense where that left eye is. And we want the eye in line, more or less, with that left sit bone. And we want the right eye in line with the right sit bone. If you have scoliosis, this isn't the body's preference. The preference for the body is to have the eyes aligned over one sit bone. It can be really helpful to have the hands on the pelvis and to kind of even feel your sit bones. I'm pointing to them now. The camera turned around so you can see the sit bones at the bottom of the pelvis, right? And if you have scoliosis or a shear through one hip, the eyes are not centered. So we're looking to feel that. Sometimes it's helpful to shift. We're going to shift the head from side to side a bit here.
Can everybody shift their head over their right sit bone? And then shift your head and your eyes over your left sit bone. And I'm going to do this, use this for balancing. So I'm going to shift both eyes over the right sit bone and push the hips a little bit to the left. So now your right eye is to the outside that sit bone, left eye is to the inside of it. And then with the knee unlocked, keeping the head over, the eyes centered over that leg, you'll float the opposite foot off the floor. Okay, release that foot down, shift the head back to the middle. Feel the eyes organizing, left and right side of the body. And then we'll shift the head to the left so that the eyes are on either side of that left sit bone. As you do that, don't let the hips push out to the left. Push them over to the right. Unlock that knee and float the opposite foot. And come back to center. Feel how the head shifted back to center. So now if you lift one leg at a time, see if you can initiate the lifting of the foot by feeling the weight shift. The eyes, the whole skull calibrates over so it's centered over the standing foot. That frees up the opposite leg to lift. Whatever leg is up in the air, set that one down. Shift your head over that foot so the eyes line up on either side of the foot. Don't let the hip kick out to the side. It's got to press over to the midline and then float the leg. Great. So, to feel how the body typically would try to shift so that we can lift a foot, this is what the body usually does, which is less efficient. So I'm going to show it because making sure that you can see me. So if I go to balance on this leg, what usually happens is whatever leg I want to balance on, the hip kicks out to the side, right? It's kind of like resting and holding a baby on that hip, and then I lift the foot. And that works, but it strains the outer hip, it locks into the hip, it twists the knee in. And so this angle from the hip to the knee is quite a diagonal line here. It's no longer vertical, but it can strain, right? And especially if you then walk that way or run that way with lots of hip movement, very hard on the knees. It was like running and kicking the feet out to the sides kind of style. We're looking to break that habit. So to break a habit, we have to feel that we're doing the habit. So shift your weight to your left leg and kick that hip out to the side. So what we're not looking to do, we're feeling that habit, float the opposite foot. You might find like, well, my balance is better here, Sarah. That's okay, but we want to train the other thing, right? And then shift the other way, kick the hip out to the side of the foot. And what you'll notice, and you can see in me, is that as I balance on this leg, my head is aligned with the floating foot. I'm not over my center of gravity, right? Which is why it gets harder then to sustain this if you want to do more complicated, right, things. So let's try the way that we want to learn. So first we're going to shift the head over the right leg. Once the head is shifted over, make sure the hip didn't kick out. It should go away from the head. The head goes one way, the pelvis goes the other, and then float the free leg. Left leg is floating, you're standing on the right leg, your head is shifted over your right leg. Feel the weights in the heel. Unlock the knee, bend the knee. Try more of a squat where you stick your butt out to the side. Straight back. Right? You could try to move your arms around, and the head is staying over the balancing foot, and the hip's not sticking out to the side. Okay, come back up to a straight leg, shake it out. And then we'll see how we feel now. Shift the weight to the left leg, the eyes shift over the left foot, frees up the right leg. We can move that leg around a bit. Move the arms around. You can sit into a squat. One-legged squat without the hips kicking off to the side. Release the arms, release the pose. Stand in Tadasana, close the eyes. Weights in the heels, the knees are unlocked. Breathe. All right, and then orient yourselves so you're facing the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sit into your chair. And then sit a little lower. Reach the arms forward, the knees hang wide, round the spine. Really reach forward. You're reaching to hold onto a column. And hold onto that column as you lower the sit bones and just touch down. Your legs out in front of you. Good. Cross the legs. Coming back to your seated position. The position we started in. I'm going to move myself back to the wall. You can move back to your wall or your sofa edge. And take a fuller, more complete exhale. Feel the body becoming more still. Feel the power of that stillness. And then using what you felt in that seated position, find a Shavasana shape. If you tend to arch the back or lock the knees, you can use your blanket or your towel underneath the knees. To your side, and to the back. Blanket under the knees will stop the hyperextension. When you're lying flat here, the pubic bone and the hip points will be level. Bring the hands to the lowest part of the abdomen. Feel if the breath is naturally reaching there. And then release your arms wide enough that the armpits feel a little open. Legs wide enough, the pelvic floor feels like it can move with the breath. If you have glasses, take them off. Let the floor hold you. So stay soft and still. Notice what you've been able to shift in your body with your movement, with your attention and presence. And feel the quite radical act that we did today together to care for ourselves, to step outside of time, to remember the eternal, the constant, the unvarying,
to be able to shift from the demands, the calls, the restraints of the outer world, and to be able to shift back into this sacred place. Remember how it feeds you, how it can reorient you. And this awareness provides an anchor. You might sense in your bones that this is somehow even more real, more potent, and more important. There's something that we do this practice because there's something we need to remember. And as many times as we'll forget, we have the power to shift our attention back and remember. All right, so rub the fingertips and the toes together, turn the ankles and the wrists slowly. Stretch a little, move a little. And the knees feet to the floor, roll over to one side. Kind of take a pause there, let your eyes kind of roll towards the floor. Organs hang. Rest towards the floor. Chuck. And then as you're ready, push up to an easy seat. Gather the feeling of the practice in cupped hands. Let it wash over you like a blessing. Hands into prayer position. Namaste.